Hello again, Ian Stuck with Mastermind Games, back for the last Gellerpox infected video from Warhammer 40,000 with the Eyestinger Swarms, which is kind of funny because swarm implies multiple, and obviously there's just one giant one. Still, there's enough bits to clearly make this a Warhammer 40,000 thing, unlike the Hull Breakers, which were just kind of rambling. 09143 Yellow Bone. In fact, I have an off day, just kind of starting to ramble in a weird way. I just gotta watch that. So, using just enough water to thin the paint, keeping the brush moist but not overly wet. Just gonna get this rib cage first. Again, these are more. Great, well that happened. More mutated vermin that the Gellerpox has gotten to. Common flies, grown to massive and dangerous proportions. And golden skin 09092. This is the same helmet style worn by the Voidsman Arms squad that I'll be doing in a little bit. This is just going to get a little odd, I think. There's no way around it. And next, gold-based here. Yeah. Sun Yellow 09008. I eventually decided, since I kind of was unintentionally doing this with the first two videos, for these lesser creatures, that I was ending up with the traditional board game colors of blue, green, red, and yellow, and red. So I figured I may as well do a yellow-based color scheme. So and I can make it Nurgle compliant. And I had a really long day. I'm getting a little rattled right now, so let's just get this done. So I'm not too concerned about catching the wounds because I'm going to pick those out in another color later. But these will look nice and gross by the time I'm finished. This one will be a bit of a challenge to get the wings, but I got it. And I'm just kind of glossing over the top here. Hearing noises I don't like coming from my machine, and there's stuff going on I don't like with my machine right now. I'm crying out loud. See if this calms down. Are we cool here? You know, I am really trying on this, and screw it. And it's just really getting frustrating when my equipment isn't playing along with me. I have made improvements. There's still more work to do, but it's getting frustrating right this minute. And for crying out loud. What a way to start a video. Again, this is one of those things where I only get one and exactly one shot at doing this, so I don't have the option of doing a second take, etc. Without stripping paint for a month or more, which I am not going to do if I am unless I am completely dissatisfied with a paint job, which hasn't happened in quite a long time, actually. So, alright. I'm going to call that good, let that dry, maybe apply more coats, and then come back in a bit, see if everything's playing nice with me. Okay, next, Marine Teal 09077. This is probably what I'm going to go with for the Elysian Star Striders, at least for Nick's squad and Alicia Vane herself. But forgot to grab a brush. Oh boy, it's been a very long day. By the time I'm done with this and some of the other sets for Blackstone Fortress, I'll have a total of 3 different rogue traders. I want all 3 of them to have different color schemes. Chaotic red. There's not too much of this, just a bit. Bit here. And then I'll do a little bit of flesh on the rib cage, so we'll do this. Although those might be maggots. Then we do those maggots, but now plate mail metal, and I think we'll see if this works out as well physically as it does in my head. Sometimes there's this huge discrepancy between how you think something's going to turn out and how it actually ends up turning out. And I am playing with highlighting and shading on this one as well. Now, picking out the wings on these first few models won't be too bad at all. There will be a big challenge in a minute. Okay, the connection point on this model of the base is pretty fragile, so caution is warranted. So I'm trying to avoid using much pressure. I'm gonna try to keep in front of the camera. I have incredibly limited space to work with, so I can only have my computer and my monitor behind me while I'm working on this. Just an artifice of the condo I live in. A little trickier on here for the wings. Well, my computer's making bad noises, but I haven't dropped any frames yet, so I'm just going to keep going regardless. And as tricky as this still isn't the trickiest part. Now I'm flipping back and forth because I'm trying to get just one of these eye stingers at a time. Makes it easier to avoid mistakes with a slow, methodical approach. In this case, the big one to avoid is just missing something. I think that's got it. Now here's where the one it gets tricky on. Because these are clustered together so much, which is the intent of the design, just a massive, massive swarm of these little monsters flitting out of the remains of what's likely their previous victim. Those are definitely easier to pick out on top, but the point is I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any. Not as concerned about missing something on the bottom, though, because that's not as visible. It's going to be up here. Well, I think I got him. And now going back here, just gonna pick out the visor. And I missed a piece I want to do in the teal, so we'll just go back to that and just take care of that real quick. Okay. Now, I was going to do this different color, but I think I will go ahead and do the crest of the helm and the silver as well. That works. Alright. Move on after it dries. Okay, I think next, how do I want to do this? Let's try Pale Olive 09036. Oh, so last base coat is all this mucus. So just don't feel very talkative right this minute, but just like the flesh, I'm going to mix and match shading and highlighting with this mucus and see if I can get an appropriately disgusting shade. It's kind of tricky to get a good grip on this one. So I'm doing this as mucus instead of stone, keeping the bones in a pile of filth. Then around the helmet of the victim. And this face might be more skeletal than I first thought, but I think I'll just go ahead and keep it that tanned color. Okay, once that dries, I can start shading. Time to shade. So I'm going to use Pale Olive 09036 again. Use it on the mucus, but I'm going to use it on the entirety of the models now, at least on the flies anyway. And I'm going to thin with 1 part water to 1 part paint, and this should mute everything down and get a more off color, and that's going to include the wings. Let's thin this out a little more, because I do want some of those base coats showing through. So I'm just going to just slop all around. This might work reasonably well, but we'll find out. Trying to absorb that the paint that got in that little divot right there, otherwise it'll make a bubble, which will cause problems later. Just something to be mindful of. It doesn't matter if this hits the mucus since it's the same color. Yep. And then this will probably be the only color I can shade right this minute, so that's fine. Make certain it gets everywhere possible, though. What I'm planning, this should work reasonably well. But then again, there's that old saying about the best laid plan, so we'll just see what happens at the end of it. I almost want to use a larger brush on this one, but I'm just going to hold off. I'm keeping my brush nice and wet for this entire process here, especially on this one. Okay. Probably do a second shading on this skeleton, but we'll do a little bit there too. see a few spots where it's a little wider. Okay. I'm trying to use some restraint here because I don't want this on the head down here. And I'm dropping frames like madness again. Alright. Fine. Fine. Just wrap this up and come back when it's dry. Alright. Back in a bit. Okay, well, I'm super frustrated. My computer conked out and that entire last clip that showed a good chunk of the shading was lost. So what I did was I took Deep Ocean 09076 and shaded the helmet here. I used Golden Shadow 09091 and did the flesh and neck. And I was in the middle of using Red Brick 09001 to do the viscera here and the gore here when my computer decided to have a temper tantrum and conk out on me completely. Yeah, fun is what I'm going to say. I want to say something a little stronger. So, at least finish this up. Stained Ivory 09142. So yeah, super frustrating. I mean, my whole computer just decided to have some unknown exception error shut down completely. I have never seen that happen before. So, go over the rib cage here, avoiding the gore. Yeah, just super, super frustrating. Blackened Steel 09205. So, that's going to be a clip forever lost. I was literally in the middle of filming it when suddenly just conk. I turn around, blue screen of death. Now I'm using this just on the visor and helmet, not on the Eyestinger Swarms wings. Alright. Once that dries, I can get the mucus, and then shading will be complete. Frustration, frustration, frustration. Okay. Muddy Olive 09034. Hopefully my computer doesn't die on me again like last time. This is the last shade. Yeah. This one's got quite a bit, but I want to avoid certain sections of its body. Alright. I'm going to get some of this on the skeletal remains as well. And I think that's okay, so once this dries completely, I can highlight, detail, and wrap up. Okay, next, Vampire Red. I'm gonna get the eyes, and I don't feel the need to use any white beforehand on this, so. Using just enough water to thin the paint. And I'm going to do the rest off camera because this is going to take a good long while. I don't want to bore you to death. Okay, time to highlight. So yeah, this took a while. Creamy Ivory 09144. Using a dry brushing technique, so straight paint, no water. A ragged feathered brush, one that's been used many, many times. Rub the paint out on a towel till it looks like there's nothing left, a paper towel. And lightly dust the area to be affected. And then a little Vampire Red, and I still have some left over from the eyes. It's dry, or that I can still use. I'll just get the mangled stump of the neck. Golden Highlight 09093. And my lighting decided to throw a fit again. Oh boy. Fine. I'm just going to roll with it because I want to get this done. Get this done so I can move on to the Eyestinger Swarms and beyond. So for Aqua 09078. And plate or a true silver 09207. Oh, and it goes a flying. Then lemon yellow 09009. That's going to be the big one. Not sure if that helped or hindered. Refreshing the paint as needed. Going against raised edges. much there. And I'm just going for a quick light dusting on those readily visible areas, trying to avoid the mucus where I can. And I'm dropping frame like madness. Alright. Alright. I'm going to try again. Okay. Back to the one in yellow. Try seeing if this plays nice. Too much paint there. Okay. Alright. Pale green 09012 for the mucus. Just the right brush for it. It's wet for some reason, not sure why. Okay. And a little matte black to finish up. That's the highlighting. Looks kind of muddied, but you know what? I think that works. This is plugged up. Oh, that might do it actually. Well, that happened. Switching to a flathead brush. I'm just carefully lining the edge of the base, being careful around the contact points, though. Many of these Eyestinger Swarms, excuse me, are towards the center, so I don't have to worry too much. And this is just an arbitrary color choice. Anything you want will do just fine, regardless of color scheme. And this just tidies up the stray bits of paint. Makes it look good. Just gives it a nice polished finish there. And then this is going to have to dry completely before I apply the basing material, which in this case is going to be rock debris or talus. Alright, let that dry out and move on as soon as I can. Okay. To do the basing, mixing a solution of white glue and water. Be generous with both. This container is just the lid of a big Gatorade bottle, so it's easy to find things, and because this had that little rubber insert at the top, this thing's lasted several years. I've lost track of how long I've been using this. So you'd be surprised where you can salvage something to use in this hobby that would otherwise be worthless. Okay, need to move a few things out of the way here. Make room for my base material, rock debris or talus. This is a mix of coarse, medium, and fine. I see my lighting has gone bonkers, but I don't care at this point. So painting around the edge, I want to avoid hitting the mucus puddle at the base here. Oh, and by the way, Warhammer community has posted, so we're gonna dip it in the material now, and then using just brush off the excess there, and taking a spare brush that is dry, just push it away from where I don't want it. Anyway, so apparently Warhammer community, Games Workshop, have been busy making a their sound identity for all these upcoming Warhammer related projects they got going. And they have posted part of an instrumental and some nice animation with sound effects. It's definitely worth checking out. Really looking forward to some of these things they've got coming up. Particularly the Eyestinger Netflix series that's in pre-production right now. And I love music in general, instrumentals in general, so that's what's really got me excited about this. All right. I do kind of want this puddle showing a bit. It's not going to be as obvious on that model, though. And I dropped a bunch of frames, oh goody. Need to be super careful on this one. Probably have nicked some of the underside of a swarm of Eyestingers, but I can work with that. Okay, so that's not too bad. So that needs to set for a bit before I can seal it, but that'll be the last step. So back in a minute. All right, last step I can do on camera: glass eyedropper, a sprayer brush on adhesive. And just carefully drip that into the flock, or towels in this case, but glass, because this stuff will bond to plastic quickly. Gum up your a plastic eyedropper. And this is the last thing I can do on camera because the only thing left is to varnish it, which involves a spray can. You don't want to do that inside. You let this set, otherwise this will end up pushing your material around and make divots in it. And once this sets, it'll be a rock hard finish. is it. The Eyestinger Swarms from the Road Predator box set for Kill Team in Warhammer 40,000, and the last of the Giller Pox infected. Starting with the Eyestinger Swarms next. Until then, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.